Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, I'm just starting my journey towards building wealth. I know I need to be in real estate and in the stock market. In the beginning, in order to build up a lot of cash, I want to buy and flip a few properties before I buy a property to hold. And I want to trade options with stocks to build up a lot of cash and then create a long-term investment portfolio later. Do you think this is a good strategy? Okay, so good strategy. Let me just explain. I know where the strategy comes from, and it comes from a mindset. And I can relate because I once had that mindset. And it is the mindset of a person who's unfamiliar with wealth. Most of us were raised to go to school, get a good education so you can get a job and make a lot of cash, make a lot of money, save a lot of money. We've always heard that it's about money. And when you're talking about buying and flipping, you're buying an asset to sell it for cash, right? More than what you paid for it. When you're trading options, when you're trading stocks, you're trading to get cash more than you put in. And so where does this idea come from? We have to understand that although cash is technically an asset, it is a depreciating asset, meaning that the longer you hold it, the less valuable it becomes because its spending power is diminished by inflation. And inflation is a forever thing. So although having a lot of cash might sound like a good idea, holding it as cash is a horrible idea because it will never be worth the same amount as when you acquired it. So do you need some cash? Yes, we call it cash flow. You need enough cash to cover the expenses of the lifestyle that you desire. Any additional cash should be converted into assets that that increase in value over time, and two, I say, provide you the cash flow that you need. So why would you take an asset like real estate, buy it, and then sell it and convert that asset into cash? What are you going to do with the cash? You're going to spend it. And if you save it, like I said, it will diminish in value. So why not acquire? It takes the same effort to acquire a property to flip as it does to acquire a property to hold. So if it takes the same effort, buy that property to hold. And here's my strategy. Any asset that I acquire should pay me cash flow, right? So it should give me additional income. So I am buying a piece of real estate that will increase in value over time, but that's not the main goal for me. The main goal for me is that it pays me rent, right? And the rent will cover the expenses of the building in terms of the acquisition cost for the mortgage and the operating expenses, and it will pay me cash flow. If I buy stocks, the vast majority of my stocks, I will not be trading anything. The vast majority of the stocks that I buy will be paying me dividends. So yes, they will increase in value over time, but they will pay me dividends. Now, there are many reasons for this. If you buy and flip, if you trade in stocks, you don't get the tax benefit of long-term capital gains. So every time you buy and flip in less than a year, every time you trade in less than a year, you pay a much higher tax rate on that. So you lose a significant amount of your potential gain by doing these short-term trades or these short-term flips. Also, in addition to the tax loss, you've given up the asset. So the asset cannot perform for you anymore, right? And so you've got rid of an asset. Now what do? You have to get another asset. That's work. It's constant work to keep finding these things and flipping these things or finding these things and trading these things. And it doesn't allow for intergenerational wealth. So if you're talking about intergenerational wealth, my thing is acquire assets that will increase in value over time, but they also pay you cash flow. Never sell the asset. Pass the asset on to the next generation, allow them to benefit from the cash flow and pass that on to another generation. In the meantime, holding the asset also has benefit because you can use it as leverage, collateral to borrow against if you do need a large sum of cash and you don't have to get rid of the asset, right? So Is it a good strategy to buy and flip a few first? I don't think so. Is it a good strategy to trade before you create a long-term investment portfolio? I don't think so. I think that, again, all assets should be income producing and equity producing, meaning they gain in value over time. And I think you should hold them until you pass on and transfer that to the next generation. So that's my take on it, but I'd love to hear your strategy and why. But please like, share, subscribe, keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.